Want a cookie? Oh, I know you just ate, so you're craving something a little sweet. Besides, one cookie isn't gonna kill you. How about half? Just a bite? Bite it. Bite it. Bite it.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. Your affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on a path to successful weight loss by quieting food noise.
Bite it.
Shh. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But here's the powerful truth. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic, founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality expert care accessible and affordable. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions, from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the health care they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word SHOW to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word SHOW, S-H-O-W, to 33777. Text SHOW to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. I guess I should open the call screening program, shouldn't I? It crashed on me a little while ago and I forgot to reopen it. Sometimes it does that. Now, don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 if you want to get the show notes, the live stream, and everything else that's happening out there. You can connect with me on social media. Now, I want to start this hour with good news. I continue, as I have said now repeatedly, almost every day now, I am continually stunned with the level of negativity of the American press corps when it comes to this war in Iran. And I know the Republicans don't want to call it a war, but let's be honest about it. It's a war. We got 150 wounded. We've got 8 dead on our side, thousands on the Iranian side now, members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the like. And you wouldn't actually know about the major good things that are happening in the war, in large part because the media doesn't want to tell you. The media wants you to believe that this is a disaster happening and that there's no way to win. I need to tell you something that I truly believe. Some of you won't like it. I have a long-standing criticism of the Trump administration that a lot of the advisors around the president, particularly the younger ones, are very, very online. They live on Twitter. They live to troll. They live to, well, for radio, I'll say poop post. They love it. They're always there, and they're always tuned in. And I am firmly convinced that one of the reasons for the rampant negativity on social media and in the media about this war is to influence those people, to influence the president. The Wall Street Journal has a report out that some of the president's close advisors are already telling him, you need to cave on this war, declare victory, and get out. It's going to hurt you politically. You know what's going to hurt? You kicked over the anthill, you tore down the hornet's nest, and you didn't eradicate the ants and the hornets. They're going to come for you. You've got the tiger by the tail. You can't let go until the tiger is subdued. And Iran is not subdued. And I think there's a propaganda play right now on social media of relentless negativity telling you we're losing. How can we lose to a bunch of these people in the Middle East who are living in caves right now? They're living in caves to avoid us. We're not losing a war in Iran right now. Part of the president's obfuscation is to keep the Iranians and everybody else on their toes as to what's happening. And yet that's being spun up on social media as we don't know how to win. We're not going to win. It's going to be a forever war. The Iranians are beating us. There are people on social media who are literally claiming that Tel Aviv has been leveled by the Iranians. You can pull up the street cameras in Tel Aviv and see that's not true. But now they're saying, well, that's been hacked. It's all AI. I want to play for you this, and it's just a sound you're going to hear. There's a massive fireball and mushroom cloud rising on the horizon. You're about to hear the explosion, the speed of sound. There it is. This is underground site in Kazan, central Iran. It was a weapons depot that we found and we've blown up. It's a major weapons stockpile hidden under a mountain in Iran. We've been able to find it, and we've been able to blow it up. An Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Basij member, that is the militia that goes around there literally driving the streets of Iran at night, and if they see people, they're shooting them. This guy is announcing that he's leaving his post. What he's saying is that he believes the Islamic regime is over. He's standing inside what he says is a barracks that used to be a school, and he explains that everybody's left. This is what he's saying, quote, "Everyone is gone or leaving. I'm going home too. It seems like the regime is finished and we should surrender. I just hope people don't take revenge on us." One member of the Revolutionary Guard Corps has said desertions are being identified in the lower ranks. The desertion phenomenon is occurring mainly in headquarters located in the periphery outside of Tehran. Whoever has money is fleeing Iran. Today, the Israelis have blown up the bank that pays the members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. The staff can't get paid. The soldiers can't get paid. How are you guys not hearing this in the national press? This isn't propaganda. This is real stuff. These are verified things. The United States and Israel are bombing locations that Iran thought we didn't know existed. We don't have minesweepers in the Persian Gulf because we have minesweeping drones, and we have blown up the Iranian ships that were trying to plant mines in the Persian Gulf and stop them from doing so. We have eliminated most of Iran's response capability. There has not been an uprising on the ground yet. We are hoping there will be an uprising on the ground. Reza Pahlavi, who the would-be Shah, has just in the last few hours put up a video saying we are now at the decisive stage of the final struggle. I urge you to secure your essential provisions as soon as possible and for your own safety. Withdraw from the streets and remain in your homes. Continue to strike. Do not show up for work. Continue your nightly chance to show your unity. To the military and law enforcement forces, this is your last chance to break from the oppressive forces and join your people. Await my final call. This is from the would-be Shah of Iran. Have you heard any of this stuff in the national press? No. What you've heard is the president has no plan. What you've heard is Chris Murphy come out and say, I can't tell you anything because it's classified, but it's a disaster, guys. We're going to lose. You got Josh Hawley out there saying, let's declare victory tomorrow and come home. You can't declare victory when you haven't completely destroyed the Iranian regime. They will come for you. Essentially, Hawley's position is let's declare victory, go home, and let's let the Arab neighbors fight them. The Arab neighbors are already saying we're so scared of Trump cutting and running that we're not doing anything. If Trump shows up tomorrow and tells the Arab neighbors, you know what? We're with you until the end. You're going to see Saudi Arabia. The United Arab Emirates are already fighting. The United Arab Emirates is the one nation in the Middle East outside of Israel that's actually firing missiles at Iran. Good for them. There is a relentless propaganda campaign on social media to convince us to withdraw. There is a relentless campaign on television, on CNN, on MS Now, and even on parts of Fox News trying to convince the president to tuck his tail and run. They don't want us there. They never wanted us there. And you know what's so funny is that many of these people for years gave lip service to destroying the Iranian regime. And now that they're actually destroying the Iranian regime, they're like, oh my gosh, we can't do that. It's absolutely mind-numbing to me. The number of people who are on television and radio trying to convince this administration to abandon all hope. They have been beaten by the Iranians living in caves right now. But they haven't. We're winning. Israel is winning. This has been a 10, 11-day air campaign to destroy Iran's capacity to make war. The fact that we are blowing up random obscure locations not on any map that we're not supposed to know about and yet we know about them is a really, really good sign that we're winning. The absolute bizarre nonsense from the American press corps about what a disaster it is, it's nonsense. This is not a disaster. Did we not expect Iran to shoot back anything? Of course Iran was going to shoot back. One of the reasons, as Marco Rubio articulated, that we needed to stop Iran now is Iran was building such a massive, massive arsenal of missiles and drones that even without nuclear weapons, we would be at a point where we couldn't stop them from developing nuclear weapons. They had built such an arsenal of drones and missiles that if we had gone in to try to stop their nuclear capacity like we did last year, they would overwhelm Israel and the Arab allies with missiles and drones, and we wouldn't have the missiles and technology to shut them down. The only way to stop them was to go in now before they crossed the Rubicon of a massive stockpile of arms we couldn't defeat. And we're doing just that. We are reducing their capacity. We've destroyed their drone-making factories. We've destroyed their underground capacity to be able to make drones underground. We've destroyed their missiles. We've destroyed their underground missile silos. We've destroyed the leadership. You know, we haven't seen the new Ayatollah in public, and there are a lot of rumors that he may be already dead or in a coma because of the bombing campaign to begin with. We have members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard fleeing the country. We've shut down their banking system so they can't give money to the troops. There are now dissension in the ranks between the Iranian army and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps militia are fleeing their barracks and saying it's over for the regime. And you're not hearing that on television because the people in this country who are in charge of the news, even some of them at Fox News, are downplaying this because they want the president of the United States to give it up and surrender. They want the Iranian regime to prosper. I frankly think people like Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut, he can't say it publicly, but he wants Iran to have nukes. I think many Democrats want Iran to have nukes because they don't particularly care for the United States. And they think if Iran had nukes, we're the bad guy, we're the bully, and we won't be able to bully him anymore. So God bless Iran for getting nukes. They can't say that publicly because it would be traitorous to say, but that's what they believe. Remember, Barack Obama became president of the United States and went on a world apology tour for the bullies in America, and then promptly negotiated with Iran to send them pallets of cash so they could rebuild their nuclear arsenal, all while pretending that wasn't the case. Democrats want Iran to have nuclear weapons. The media wants Iran to have nuclear weapons because the Democrats and the media are rooting against the United States. And the shocking thing is to see voices on the right doing the same thing, or on the supposed right. Megyn Kelly saying this is all about Israel. Tucker Carlson becoming an anti-Semite. The Steve Bannons of the world dismissing this. The Douglas McGregors going on with Matt Gaetz to say this is a disaster and we've actually secretly lost the war or some such. All the nonsense, the propaganda you're hearing from these people blaming Israel, telling Donald Trump he doesn't know what he's doing, claiming that Iran is mastering us and beating us and dominating us in the Middle East, and it's simply not true. The fact that Iran and these people are having to rely on AI to try to make the case that they're winning, and any day now, Iran's going to launch the big bad missiles they've been saving up. It's all a lie to scare you, and sadly, in many corners, it's working. Because you just saw an amazing American operation in Venezuela. An amazing operation that neither China nor Russia could pull off. But these people want you to bet against America because at the end of the day, it's to their profit for you to doubt and have skepticism and be angry. It is to their profit that you blame Israel. It is to their profit that you doubt the capacity of the American military. I would not bet against the American military. And right now, they're doing amazing, amazing work, destabilizing an Iranian regime that wants every single one of you dead. Don't bet against America. I want to read you this tweet from George Journeys. Iran is getting absolutely curb stomped, has been for the last 9 months. Anyone who says otherwise is absolutely full of it. Imagine in May last year, someone told you that by March this year, the Iranian nuclear program would be neutralized, its navy entirely sunk, its air force largely destroyed, its Ayatollah and dozens of high-ranking leaders dead, substantial degradation of the ICRG, its ballistic missiles expended, the U.S. and Israel flying at will across the country and the entire Gulf region turning against it, and all Iran has accomplished was a handful of hotel bombs, a couple of THAAD radars knocked down, 3 U.S. airframe losses to friendly fire, no naval losses, 150 wounded, 8 killed. No one would believe you. Remember, people were taking very seriously the nonsensical Van Ripper war game where a plucky Iran somehow managed to sink large portions of the U.S. fleet. And now we're meant to believe that a remaining flotilla, basically the same as a bunch of Venezuelan drug-running boats, this absolute dog's breakfast of a military can mine and block the Straits of Hormuz. They really do keep moving the goalposts, don't they? The left in the media and outside the media, they really keep doing, Iran doesn't have to win. It just needs to block the Straits of Hormuz. Lloyd's of London has just announced it will be insuring ships going through the Straits of Hormuz. Chubb has set up as well and said, we too will be insuring ships going through the Straits of Hormuz. Have at it. It is a remarkable propaganda campaign. That's one thing that Iran is very good at, is running a propaganda campaign, because so much of the American media institutions out there are rooting for Iran to win so that they can hurt the United States. By the way, Israel has, in just the last little while, targeted 4 regime checkpoints in Tehran. State media is reporting 10 members of the Iranian regime have been killed. The checkpoints are key. They're one of the tools preventing people from taking to the streets. Israel has started wiping out the checkpoints. Israel has people on the ground in Iran, assassination teams, among others, who are wiping out the Iranians to prepare for the ground game that is not going to be American-backed. It's going to be backed by Iranians and by Kurds with the help of the Mossad and others. We're about to watch a major escalation inside Iran, and that's a good thing. Now, what's also a good thing is Vision Computers. If you're buying a computer and you're building a computer, they can build it for you. They can upgrade your existing computer for you. They can save you money on doing it. And then you get their world-class tech support with you. If you got a kid going off to college, needs a computer, Vision Computer can build them the computer they need that's going to last them through college and then provide them their managed tech support. So if your kid is at college and has a problem, they call Vision Computer and they get a live operator on the phone in 15 seconds or less who helps them. Call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE today or go to visioncomputers.com. They can build you computers, or you can just do the managed IT service. If you've already got a computer or your office has computers, they can be your managed IT service. You can't pay somebody the six-figure salary to be on call 24/7 for your company if it's a small business, but you can pay Vision Computers and your employees will get the special number where they call. In 15 seconds or less, they get a human being, not an AI chatbot on the phone, and Vision takes care of them. Call them today, 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might save some money. 404-COMPUTE, anybody, any company, nationwide. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I want to go to the phones here in just a second. I want to bring you up to speed, though, on some very interesting developments in the Iran situation that I think we all need to be paying attention to here. There are reports coming out of Iran that have now been confirmed by multiple media outlets that Israeli forces are eliminating Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps checkpoints in Tehran and other cities. Those checkpoints are guarded positions to try to keep people inside their homes. There's been a general strike in Iran of people refusing to go to work in parts of the country, and the guard is there trying to keep people in their homes, and those positions are being eliminated by Israel. Israel not only is launching Air Force strikes to blow them up, but appears to have people on the inside in Iran. Likewise, Ahmadinejad, the former president who was locked up and reported dead, has apparently been broken out of prison. He was arrested by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps on orders of the Ayatollah for disloyalty and appeared to have help from the outside escaping. And now the would-be Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, has in the last few hours released a video message urging Iranians to stock up supplies and prepare for the final phase of the mission to topple the government. It sounds very much like something is rapidly escalating inside Iran on the ground. American soldiers are not present, but Israel has taken out border positions that were designed to prevent the Kurds from spilling into the country. Israel has now taken out checkpoint positions inside Iran designed to prevent the Iranians from taking to the street. And now you got the Shah of Iran telling people to get ready. Something's happening. We should probably take their word for it. Something's about to happen. We'll see. Now I want to go to John's phone call here, waiting patiently. John, welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. Thanks for being patient.
Well, thank you very much for taking my call. The call screener said that what I'm talking about is a throwaway question. You mentioned the Key Bridge earlier.
Yes.
And I have heard nothing since that happened years ago about the insurance that ship was supposed to have on events like this. And it was almost as though the Biden administration was covering something up. Do you have any information on this?
I do have information on this. I actually know the answer, John, because this has come up with me before. So the insurance company paid out the terms of the policy. And then the Biden administration preempted everything and said, you know what, the federal government is going to cover the costs of it. And the way the federal government decided to cover the costs of it is essentially the insurance policy paid what it could pay to the federal government for the damage. And then everything else was left alone because the shipping company didn't have the ability to foot the bill. So the American taxpayers are on the hook for this project, which is why there are no cost controls, because the Biden administration itself decided it was going to jump the gun before there was litigation or anything else and say, we're going to rebuild the bridge. Wanted to essentially prove that the U.S. government could rebuild the bridge. And thus far, the state of Maryland and the United States have proven that they are incapable of using big government to build bridges instead of letting the private. Think about Ron DeSantis in Florida after the hurricane, some of the bridges were wiped out. And he was able to rebuild them in a matter of weeks. Here in Georgia, we had a portion of I-85 in Atlanta, a major thoroughfare in the city collapsed. Some homeless people set fire under the interstate overpass. It weakened the structure. And we were able to rebuild it in a matter of weeks. In Minnesota, they had a bridge collapse. They were able to do it. But in Pennsylvania also had a bridge collapse. They were able to rebuild it very quickly. But in California, they can't build high-speed rail, and in Maryland, they can't rebuild this bridge. It's just ridiculous. By the way, I gotta read you this from Andy No. It has not gotten major headlines, but you need to know about it. There is a Pennsylvania State Police trooper who was killed Sunday night. It was a murder-suicide event, and according to the Post-Millennial, the deceased suspect has been identified as a pretty rabid progressive. In fact, he was a far-left radical who left behind political writings online, listed his pronouns, and may have been linked to a far-left John Brown Gun Club group. The progressives in the country continue to be violent. You know, the big call from the left right now on TSA is that the left wants the TSA continue to be shut down until the ICE agents and Border Patrol agents are forced to uncover their faces. Now, I just bear with me here, because I need to explain something to you guys that most of you don't appreciate. This is not an ad campaign, but I do want to talk about Incogni for a second, because it's relevant to what I want to talk about, because I'm not making up the ad campaign. So Incogni, INCOGNI. If you go to incogni.com/Eric, you can get a discount on their services. Incogni works to get your data offline, because there are a lot of websites online. I used them as a lawyer, actually, when I was filing lawsuits against people and I couldn't find them. You go to particular websites, put people's information in, and they would find you who they thought was the relevant person. Sometimes it wasn't. Many times it was very good. And the way you could find the relevant people on these data broker websites is it would list their family and sometimes provide links. And I got swatted because someone was able to get on one of these websites and find my home, and they called the police. I don't know that I've still got the 911 phone call, but it was someone who didn't even sound like me. And they think he called, that he was able to go through an internet website where you can make phone calls, because they were never able to track the person. And I was writing about a particular guy who, whenever anybody wrote about the guy, those people got swatted. And then, by the way, when I wrote about him, the man wound up suing me and others for writing about him. And my company, he was highly litigious, and my company wanted to get out of it because they were up for sale, and so they wound up settling the case. And the others who fought him, they all won their lawsuits against him. But somebody called and said it was me, and that I had killed my wife, and they asked where my wife was. And the man said, on the floor, I'm looking at her. She's getting my carpet dirty with blood. And then said, now I'm going to go across the street and start shooting my neighbors because they won't turn their music down. He said, where are you? He said, gave my home address, which I almost just gave you on the radio, which I will not do. And what was so funny about this, and it actually is kind of funny, is you can hear the interstate from my house. And my sister commented, we had been outside for a minute, she says, wow, you can't hear any, like, this is the first time I haven't heard road noise. And we went inside. It was Memorial Day weekend with them visiting, and a police officer pulled up in the driveway. My son, who at the time had to be like 3 or 4 years old, ran outside and said, police, police, police. He was so excited. Police officer grabbed his gun, like held it. It was in his holster, but hand on his gun. And I went outside, and I knew immediately what had happened. And I realized out of the corner of my eye there was a police officer that was blocking my driveway. And the guy looked at me and he said, aren't you on CNN? And I laughed. I said, yes, sir, I am. And I bet I know why you're here. I think someone has swatted me. And he didn't know what swatting was. And I explained that I've been writing about a guy who, when this guy gets written about, people tend to get swatted. And that is someone calls the police and says they've killed their spouse and they're going to go kill the neighbors. And so you surround the house. And he said, Mr. Erickson, I need to see your wife. And I called for Christy and she came outside. And he asked her, he says, are you okay? She says, yeah. And he got on his microphone. Y'all, my house was surrounded by the SWAT team. They were back in the woods, but that's why there was no traffic. They had blocked the road. That my house was surrounded by the SWAT team. That guy came up to check, and he laughed, and he said, yep, you have been swatted. The SWAT team is here. And somebody got my information from one of these online data brokers. And was able to contact them. And nowadays they can actually track you down and they can find your information, and they can not only find your information, they can find information about your kids. So in fact, one of the reasons I went with Incogni is somebody sent me a printout from one of the data broker sites, and it had links to my kids' social media with their pictures. And my kids are pretty obscure on social media, and they had been able to track them down. I was like, this is not good stuff. So I signed up with Incogni, and they started taking all that information down. They started reaching out to those data brokers on my behalf. And there have been a couple of times where I've given them specific websites and say, please target this website. They've got my information. They got my kids' information, and they do it. Now, that's kind of a roundabout way to make a point here that as the left gets increasingly violent in this country, we've got another situation where another progressive activist has gunned down police. The left wants ICE agents to be uncovered and exposed. They want to target ICE agents. They want to target their families. There have already been reports around the country that the media has largely refused to report on, where families of ICE agents have been targeted. We have a situation here where in the metro Atlanta area, they were building a police training facility. Antifa activists actually targeted the construction employees. They figured out who the project manager was. A buddy of mine goes to church with the guy and said they had activists show up at their church and disrupt worship services because one of the construction managers for this police facility went to church there, shut down the church service. It got very little coverage. There was no cell phone footage. Think about the situation in St. Paul, Minnesota, where Don Lemon and the Antifa gang and the Black Lives Matter crowd stormed into that church because apparently one of the assistant pastors, who wasn't even there that day, worked for ICE. And so they disrupted the church. These people want ICE agents uncovered and exposed so they can be harassed and targeted personally, and their families can be harassed and targeted personally. And so they're willing to keep TSA shut down until they get to be able to kill ICE agents. They want them and their families exposed. More than 300 TSA agents this weekend quit their jobs because the Democrats will not fund the Department of Homeland Security. These people are working in airports and they're not being paid. And many, many Americans, the normal people of America who aren't plugged in, they had no idea there was a government shutdown. It doesn't feel like a government shutdown, does it? But you go to the airport, you start to feel it because the agents aren't paid. 300 TSA agents have quit. In some airports now, it is a 5-hour wait to get through the airport because the Democrats are refusing to reopen Homeland Security unless they get to take the masks off ICE agents so progressive activists can shoot them. A police officer was shot and killed this weekend in Pennsylvania by a progressive activist who wanted to do that. ICE agents have been fired at in Texas, in Oregon, in other states as well. Renee Good hit an agent with her car before she was fatally shot. They want to make ICE agents targets because they think if they can make the ICE agents scared, they'll give up their jobs. So the TSA agents are being held hostage so progressives can gun down ICE agents. That's what the Democrats want. Think about your safety and security. It's just absolutely bizarre that they are holding the TSA and air travelers hostage in order to expose ICE agents to harassment. That's what the progressives are doing through the Democratic Party right now. Now I want to jump to Mark's phone call. Mark, I'll be on Amelia Island this coming weekend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
So you're in front of Nina Beach right now, Amelia Island, and there's a controversy over paid parking with the commissioners that we have right now. And I wanted to ask you the question about local government, what we can do. But we've filed an injunction against them. We've got a petition, grassroots petition, to stop paid parking until the vote, and they continue to do it. They just keep overriding it. Now we're in the process of recall, and they just keep continuing. They won't, and it's overwhelmingly the response from the community. They do not want paid parking. You have a very small majority of them that do. I mean, a small minority of them that do. Very few. And we just don't know what to do as a community. I think we're looking. What else can we do to stop this government just basically overreach and its greed and its power and its? Yeah.
I mean, if it's a majority of the residents oppose it, you got to show up at the county commission and enforce and don't think that doesn't do any good because showing up in force, understanding that this becomes a campaign issue for these people actually does really matter. They want to keep their jobs. Now, there will be situations where they think they're doing the right thing. Now, Mark, I will just tell you as a former city councilman, my community went through the same thing, where we did not want parking meters downtown. A lot of people didn't want parking meters. And the county commission and the city council wound up agreeing on parking meters because it turned out that the majority of the people taking up the parking spaces in our downtown area were the workers in the buildings, so that the shoppers were not able to get down to the businesses. And that was their logic. They knew a majority of people didn't want it. Now, I will tell you, having been to Amelia, I don't think that's the problem in Amelia. You guys have a lot of great downtown parking. I love that fudge shop, by the way, in downtown Vernon. It is one of my favorite places.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, it is. It is. And what's the seafood restaurant downtown that's so famous? My wife makes us eat there every time. Not the Crab Shack, is it?
It wasn't Brett's Waterway, was it?
No, I can't remember it. But the downtown down there is fantastic. I'm looking forward to being down there and checking out the cigar shops too. I will just tell you, you all got to go to the committee meeting and the commission meeting. You've got to show up in large numbers, and you got to make your voice heard, and you got to point out to them that they are depriving themselves of tourists and shoppers in the downtown area, and they are going to potentially risk it. And here's the problem. Democratic and even the nonpartisan commissions, very time run by liberals, and they just think they got to raise money in every which way. And that sometimes is cutting off your nose to spite your face. And if it is a big issue and you are right and it's a majority of you are opposed to it, they're going to have to listen to you if you show up. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. There is some breaking news. The head of the Russian air defenses in Moscow has, fallen out of a window. Not making that up. Another Russian general has fallen out of an upstairs window. This comes, have y'all been paying attention to Ukraine? Ukraine has taken back a significant portion of its territory. The Russians have actually receded in territorial gain, and there is new intelligence out that over 1.3 million Russian soldiers were sent to Ukraine, and 60% of them are dead. Fascinating. Also, it turns out 100% of the missiles and rockets China sent to Iran and the drones all failed. Didn't work. Wow. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank. They are my bank. They could be your bank. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. They were started because of the debanking trends across the country, and they wanted to protect conservatives. They wanted to protect your right to bank. They wanted to protect your interests. And so they came up with Old Glory Bank. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. I got a bank account there, and you can too. I got the no-fee checking and savings accounts. You get the premium accounts if you want. They got a premium interest-bearing checking account. And if you're active duty military, they'll waive the fees for you on it. Businesses, they have great business accounts. They do mortgages. They do CDs. Full-functioning bank. Great people out of Oklahoma City. They're an online bank. Your kids are going to love it because they get a custodial account there. And they've got a great app, great bill pay tools, great budgeting tools. You can turn on and off your debit card with their app. It's fantastic. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. OldGloryBank.com/ERICK. Get involved with Old Glory Bank right now. Start a relationship with them. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.